O'Brien.
Jacob's Troop, you're watching the Tom O'Brien Show. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Long weekend, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, I hope your Valentine's Day was good. I'm never going to go out to a restaurant for Valentine's Day ever again. I had a lovely time, but I'm going to be cooking at home from now on. But last night, I marinated some New York strips in this like espresso balsamic vinegar that my girlfriend got me for Valentine's Day. And now that was delicious. Let's see what we got going on today. Man, getting that midday crash. I've been drinking these Red Bulls as well. Not a good thing to do. Yeah, the SPY basically flat right now. I mean, you're up at 611 earlier today, trading at 609.71. The composite up 0.26% at 19,974. The Dow Jones Industrial off about 0.3% at 44,414. The Russell futures trading up about 0.3% at 2,292. Russell doing quite well today, at least the futures. All things considered, DXY up about 0.25% at 107.05, with crude oil coming up about 1.53% at 71.82. Gold contract right back up. Man, 20,000, gosh, 2,954. Man, right under the highs there. I mean, how did some of them, let's see what the GDX is doing out of curiosity. You're seeing more people starting to talk about these miners, right? And of course, we are going to have Tim Ord on today as well. Usually we have Basil Chapman on Tuesdays. He is out of town, but we'll go over his newsletter a little bit. And of course, we're looking forward to having Tim Ord on. Trading up 1.29%, 41.61. And of course, we want to check out VGZ, just for sentiment's sake, trading off about 5.38% at 63 cents. Definitely not performing as well as the general GDX there. Let's take a look. Yeah, the Celsius trading up about 0.85%, $22.53, with Lucid up about 4.38 at $3.45. Let's see what else. Steel Dynamics up about 1.86%. Tesla coming off a little bit. Look, I mean, I think this is kind of just like a dead cat bounce almost. I really do believe this equity needs to give back. It's Trump rally, it's Trump bump, whatever the heck they call it. He has a conversation where he's going to start opening up in India, okay. Now, one thing I did find interesting, okay, and I've been low-key kind of hating on Optimus, and not really hating on the concept, but him saying, we're going to have 10 trillion in revenue in 2030 or by 2030. I said, man, yeah, sure, right. Well, you do have some interesting stuff coming out with Apple and Meta trying to develop humanoid robots, right? And this kind of does make sense for Apple because I think they need a new product. They're having a hard time innovating, really. And now the question is, I mean, how many people actually need these kind of things? And I would assume something like Apple and especially Meta is much more like a consumer product as opposed to something like what Tesla's trying to do, which is replace factory lines with them. Of course, they also market Optimus as being a home helper, right? But I think that applies far more to something like Apple and Meta. And so we'll see what happens. I mean, in a lot of ways, I mean, one, I think the CapEx for something like Meta is huge for building out data centers. The idea is really to like start shipping AI into these kind of things. But to me, what this sounds like is a big hype cycle trying to develop that is certainly at some point going to depress the equity price, and they will cut it and they'll send it back up. I mean, it really reminds me of like the attempt from Meta to do Metaverse, and it just got to a point where it's like, what is the point of this, right? So, I mean, I'll follow this and we'll talk about it a little bit, but as far as designing humanoid robots, I think this is far more hype than anything else. And you have Elon Musk saying, eventually he could see robots priced at $30,000. I don't know. I believe that's all, again, entirely hype. Let's take a look at earnings today. Oh man, I was looking through everything, trying to set up stuff for this week. Anything else interesting? I was actually surprised Cisco did so well last week. Definitely. I'm trying to see. You have Baidu. I believe Baidu already came out. They had, I believe, decent cloud growth, but you have some competition right now with AI. That's off about 7.32%. You have Baba coming out. Now, I do like Chinese stocks right now. Baba, of course, has been making unbelievable all-time highs. Yeah, you're showing I see here. Yeah, the 20th. So 2 days from now on Thursday, you're going to have earnings coming out before market. And I mean, we're looking at Baba, around 90s, did not take a position or anything serious in it. But it is interesting. Of course, you have some major risk being with China, but, things, massive consumer economy. Gosh, what is this? No, when I'm looking at these American depositories, right, for Baidu. I think Baidu will definitely dominate world markets, right? I mean, they're not going to sell of course, these are electric vehicles, Chinese electric vehicles. They're not going to sell in the US, pretty sure of that. I'm not sure if Europe has really done anything to ban Baidu coming there. I know there was some conversation around that. Now, they released self-driving, or autonomous driving rather, on, I think, a lot of their platforms. This did make some people upset because they bought a nicer vehicle, they would have just waited, right? But the main point of this is they'll still be able to sell globally. Of course, you have China expanding into South America. Australia buys a lot of Chinese products. These guys can expand into Russia. I like Baidu. I think it's, Baidu, BYD. I think it's interesting, I think they have decent vehicles, they're cheap. And to have that kind of software on a car, right, where in the past you'd only think Tesla was kind of capable of it, I think that poses serious problems. One, for Tesla, I think that adds kind of my short thesis on Tesla, but I think it also adds to a longer kind of thesis for BYD. So I don't have any position in this yet. I still kind of want to do some more research on it. You're trading at 85 billion market cap. These are obviously ADRs. And then your PE's at 56. But yeah, I don't know, something to look into. And I think you have a lot of more institutional interest in, foreign equities right now as well. Sticking with the car kind of conversation, you have Rivian coming out with earnings, I believe, on Thursday. I think they'll probably run this up into earnings, but I don't see them being even gross profitable at all. I think the forward ramp for them is bad because you're going to stop getting these government grants for EVs. Them loosening up who they can sell vans to for transit is very good, but I don't know if they'll be able to save them. Folks, stay right there. We'll be right back.